Hey everyone, welcome to our small footprint. Today's video is some apples. Now, if you've been following me on Instagram or Facebook, you know that yesterday I picked up 180 kilos of pink lady apples. But prior to that, I bought myself a box of Granny Smiths from the fruit and veg store. So they had to be processed. So this video is actually 2 days old, I think. I've managed to get myself ahead by a day or two to be able to have videos up, to have a bit more time to get them up. So this video I think is 2 days ago, and the apples that I got were yesterday, so they're going to come in the next couple of days. I'm going to start having to process them. But this is the Granny Smiths that I got in the food in my grocery haul, and what I did with those mostly, and some bread at the end. This is a fairly quick video. It was a day I spent a lot of time doing admin, and I got the kids help in the kitchen with the apples, so I wanted to share, but you can flick through all the kids stuff at the front if you want. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again tomorrow. So we got straight in today to the Granny Smith apples that we had got on the monthly shop. I had a lot of work to get done, so I assigned the task to Sonnet to supervise the slinking or the spiraling or whatever you want to call it of the apples for me. So I took a whole bunch of footage, just let the camera go, came out and reset it every now and again, of Sonnet and Kavik at times. I think Apollo helped. I think everyone came and stole bits of apple, but they all slinkied up all the apples for me. So I'm going to put this here, and I'm just going to put some music over it, and if you want to watch it, feel free. If not, you can skip past it, and then I will show you what I did with the apples after this footage. Alrighty, once the apples were all slinkied, I diced them up a little bit further so there were smaller pieces because I was going to put these in an apple pie filling, and I felt like having smaller pieces meant that I would get more apple into each jar, and jars are hard to come by, so this meant that I got more apples in less jars and more filling per jar as well, because we large family, we use significant amounts for each meal. So I basically measured them, like I did a quick measure of how much of the pot a certain amount of cups took up, and then I guesstimated from that point forward because that's what I do. And I put them all in the pot, filled the pot, and guesstimated approximately how many cups that was into the pot. I then added water. Now you can add, a lot of the recipes add apple juice, not water, but I'm really not keen on adding another expensive product to the item. Like it's another purchase and another expense added to the canned goods if you're having to purchase apple juice. If I had enough apples to juice them and then perhaps use that apple juice, it would be different, but I only had this one box of Granny Smith's to do this with, and Granny Smith juice is quite tart too. So anyway, I used water in this one. While recording this, I'm having trouble finding exactly where I wrote the ratios down, so I'm going to have a look and I'll try and put it in the overlay or in the comments for it. So I added the water. I then add cinnamon and sugar. So again, I can't find the piece of paper that I wrote down what ratios I did, so I'm going to look for it. We go heavy on the cinnamon because we really like the flavour of cinnamon, and we tend to go light on the sugar because we don't like it as sweet. So I added all of that to the pan and stuck it on the stove and then mixed it up well to heat through. Now you can use we don't normally thicken our apple pie filling. Normally I just can things in an extra light cinnamon syrup, and then I can thicken it as I needed when I want to use it. But I decided that I wanted to thicken some this time, and I don't really want to buy Clearjel or the Thermflo, which is the Australian equivalent of Clearjel that's available. It's very expensive and I wouldn't use it for many things. So I decided to give the tapioca a go. I was going to do one lot in tapioca, one in cornstarch, but I only ended up doing one. Now, it's a bit of a debate about using tapioca or cornstarch in these sorts of things. The Clearjel is a modified cornstarch that's meant to cope with the high heats and stuff. Standard stuff isn't supposed to do that. So that's personal preference, personal choice, whether you are happy to give those a go or not. But I decided I was going to give it a go. So I put 2 cups of the tapioca in with my apples. Now, I had a bit of a comedy of errors with making my apples, and there was a whole bunch of issues where I accidentally added bicarb to my apple mix because it was in the same jar as my tapioca, and then it wasn't thickening, and then I had to do a bunch of things to try and fix it. Because of that, I then had to pressure can my apples instead of water bath can, because bicarb is an alkaline, so the acid level wasn't high enough to water bath can to preserve these apples. So don't do what I did because it made the job twice as long and it didn't work out optimally. But anyway, so I added the 2 cups of tapioca to that amount and it thickened it up quite nicely. Heat it through until it bubbles slightly and then take it off the heat and put it in the jars. When you put it in the jars, you have to give a really generous headspace, like a good 1.5 to 2 inches of headspace. The thickened mixture bubbles and boils in the jars, and you will get siphoning and you will get exploding jars and things like that if you're not careful. So you definitely have to give a really generous headspace if you're using this thickened applesauce mix. Once I filled all the jars, I debubbled them all very carefully. I still cannot find my debubbling tool anywhere, either one of them. I have a Fowler's and a ball mason one, and I can't find either of them, so I just use the back end of a spatula. You just want to use something that's plastic or wood, not metal, because you don't want to risk damaging your jars. So I debubbled all the jars well, cleaned the rims with vinegar, and you want to make sure that they're cleaned really well as well, because this is a really sticky mix, and then stuck all the rings, lids and clips on. Now I used a mix of ball mason and Fowler's Vicola jars here. I double clipped the Fowler's jars because remember I'm having to pressure can this. I looked up the times for pressure canning apple pie and it said 8 minutes at 10 pounds. So I use a weight which goes to 15 pounds because of my altitude, and I did it for 10 minutes just to make sure. But I knew that this was not going to be very good apple pie filling when I did it. When they came out of the canner, which was dark, and I don't have a shot of it, but I will share something on Instagram later about how I did it, and we did serve them over Dutch baby pancakes. It turned out sort of like a caramel apple jam almost. It's very tasty, but it is not pie filling. So they went in the pressure canner, and when they came out they were normal 24-hour cool down, and then lids and then clips and rings removed. I did have a couple that failed to seal. They went in the fridge to be used the next day. Then I ended my day as I regularly do with bread. So I baked these boulets so they could be used for breakfast in the morning. I bought some new Dutch ovens, cast iron casserole dishes. Recently they were marked down to $30 each, so I bought myself two to use for bread. Normally I just put it in the oven on a cast iron plate, but I decided to grab myself some Dutch ovens, not only for bread, I can use them for many things, but to give bread a go. I used these at a cold start, and it didn't look much different than when flat in the oven. So, you know, we'll see. But it's worth having them there, and I might try them from a hot start. I might try putting a couple of ice cubes in the inside of it as well, but my oven just isn't great for bread. I really need to get my wood stove working again. So that was today's jobs. Hope you enjoyed watching the kids do all the apple slinking. It was quite entertaining to watch back, and I will see you again next time.